Welcome to The Explainer. If you're looking for a complete strategic breakdown of all 16 FIFA World Cup knockout matches, you are in exactly the right place. We're bringing some seriously high sports desk energy today because look, the group stages are behind us, the stakes are literally at an absolute maximum, and those betting lines, man, they are sharper than ever. We've synthesized a comprehensive analytical guide to give you that tactical edge. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Right out of the gate, we need to establish our opening mantra. I have carefully analyzed every prediction, trust the process, and place them with confidence. Listen, this isn't about just throwing darts at a board blindly. It's about identifying patterns, understanding team form, and spotting those market inefficiencies. The analytics here demand that we trust the process and place these picks with absolute confidence.
To make this incredibly efficient for you, we aren't going to just read down a boring chronological list of fixtures. Instead, we've organized these 16 matches into 5 distinct strategic narratives: the heavyweight favorites, emerging dark horses, the defensive grinders, underperformers seeking redemption, and finally, the closest toss-ups. This structure is going to help you spot real betting value across the board.
Let's start with narrative number 1, the heavyweight favorites. We are talking about the absolute giants of the tournament here.
There is a really clear pattern that emerges when you line up these juggernauts side by side: France, Argentina, Brazil, and Germany. The market absolutely expects total dominance. France earned 9 points out of 9 in their group, while Argentina and Brazil are just humming perfectly right now. Because the money line on these teams simply winning offers very little return, the absolute best value lies in the prop markets. For France, Argentina, and Brazil, the data heavily points toward predicting over 3.5 or over 4.5 corners. They're going to command possession, pin their opponents deep, and force a massive volume of attacking set pieces.
And hey, speaking of attacking volume, check out this specific number for Germany. Over 5.5 shots on target predicted against Paraguay. Now you might be thinking, wait a second, didn't Germany just lose to Ecuador? Yeah, they did. But they had already secured qualification and were honestly totally unmotivated in that final group match. Now that the knockouts are actually here, expect a relentless, fully motivated German attack firing on all cylinders against a Paraguayan team that lost 4-0 to the USA earlier in the tournament.
Rounding out our heavyweights, we have 2 straightforward mismatch plays. Spain's incredible squad depth makes them an absolute lock to win and score 1 to 3 goals against Austria. Meanwhile, the USA has looked genuinely outstanding in their form. Back the US to win in regular time and hit over 4 corners against a Bosnian squad that barely scraped through by clinging to their defensive organization for dear life.
Moving right along to Section 2, Emerging Dark Horses. These are the surprise packages that have totally shocked the tournament. First up here is Mexico. They have been totally flawless defensively. They boast a perfect winning record in the group stage, completely shutting down their opponents with 3 consecutive clean sheets. They're facing an Ecuador side that has definitely improved, but still only managed to qualify in 3rd place. Because of Mexico's incredible defensive structure, the betting angle here is fascinatingly gritty.
Over 20.5. Seriously, that is the massive number of total fouls predicted in this Mexico versus Ecuador clash. Add to that a prediction of over 2.5 cards and under 3.5 total goals. So what does this actually tell us? The analysis expects a highly physical, intensely contested, low-scoring Latin American derby. It's going to be a trench war out there, and betting on the discipline and fouls markets is exactly where the smart money is.
And this gritty theme continues right into our next set of dark horse matchups: Canada versus South Africa and Switzerland against Algeria. Let's see how this builds. Canada has been a total revelation. They absolutely demolished Qatar 6-0 and pushed Switzerland right to the brink. They are clear favorites to advance against a South African team that kinda just took advantage of a cautious opponent to scrape through. Similarly, Switzerland responded to an early draw with some really excellent wins, making them a highly confident pick to score 1 to 3 goals and qualify over an Algerian squad that barely made it as a 3rd-place finisher.
That brings us to Section 3, the defensive grinders. This is where elite talent goes head-to-head with teams that love to park the bus.
The logic for these next matchups is rooted entirely in style mismatches. You've got England facing DR Congo and Colombia taking on Ghana. Now, England and Colombia are the far superior teams here and are heavily backed to win and qualify. However, DR Congo and Ghana are defensively stubborn. They play absolute survival football. Because of this, the analysis predicts remarkably low goal totals. You pair an England win with under 5.5 total goals and a Colombia win with Ghana scoring under 2 goals. You take the favorite, but you bet the under on the match volatility.
Then we have Ivory Coast versus Norway. Ivory Coast had a phenomenal group stage built on really disciplined defense. They even pushed Germany hard.
But here's the strategic wrinkle. Norway made the tactical decision to rest key players in their final group match against France. Because Norway comes into this knockout tie incredibly fresh and rested, the predictions strongly back them to crack that Ivorian defense, score 1 to 3 goals, and ultimately qualify. Rest is a massive weapon in tournament football, making Norway to qualify an incredibly sharp play.
Let's shift gears to Section 4. Underperformers seeking redemption, finding form when it matters most.
This is honestly perhaps the trickiest tie of the round. Portugal came into the tournament with sky-high expectations, but severely underperformed. They drew with Colombia and DR Congo before finally finding a win. On the other side, you have Croatia. They might not be at their absolute historical peak right now, but they secured a very strong second-place finish in their group and remain incredibly dangerous.
So, the crucial point is, the analytics project Portugal to advance, or at least take a double chance bet covering a Portugal win or a draw, but they really don't trust them to dominate. Betting under 10.5 total shots on target is the smart play in what should be a nervous, cagey affair. Also, just quickly noting our other underperformer, Belgium. They are back to finally find their rhythm against Senegal and push heavy pressure, resulting in over 3.5 corners.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the closest toss-ups. These are the matches where the margins are razor thin.
You literally couldn't ask for a better stylistic clash. The Netherlands are convincing group winners. They topped their group by handling business against Sweden and Tunisia, but they are running straight into Morocco, the ultimate giant killers of this tournament. Morocco has already drawn with Brazil, thrashed Haiti, and their goalkeeper Bono has been nothing short of outstanding, like an absolute brick wall. And this brilliantly illustrates how the betting market digests a clash like this. It deeply respects Morocco's phenomenal defense and Bono's shot-stopping ability, which is exactly why the total goals are capped at under 4. But strategically, the market also expects the Netherlands to push the pace, dominate possession, and rack up over 3.5 corners as they try to break the Moroccan wall down. It's just a classic attack versus defense setup.
Then we have what our source explicitly identifies as the most evenly matched tie of the entire round of 16, Australia versus Egypt. Both teams have shown serious grit but lack overwhelming dominance. Australia had totally mixed results, a win, a draw, and a loss. Egypt survived incredibly tough draws against Belgium and Iran before finally securing a gritty win. Because this game is so wonderfully chaotic and evenly matched, we see this massive prop number, over 6.5 corners. Both teams will be desperately pushing down the flanks, but here's the most fascinating prediction for this match. No draw. The analytics insist that despite how close they are on paper, somebody is definitely winning this match outright in regular time. Do not touch the draw here.
And that brings our tactical journey through the knockout stages to a close. We've mapped out the mismatches, flagged the low-scoring grinders, and zeroed in on those absolute toss-ups. The analytical foundation is laid out right here for you. So the only question left as that knockout whistle blows is this: which of these emerging dark horses is going to absolutely shatter the bracket? Or are you going to trust the process and lock in with the heavyweights? Take this data, apply it to the matches, and most importantly, enjoy the games.